could we kind of develop a blockchain-based solution whereby individuals would then have access to their story through a wallet, and then they can provide consent to other people to use it if they wanted to.
Hi, I'm Bryan Colligan from Alphagrowth. Today we're here at the Blockchain Connect Conference 2019 at the Starfish Lab booth. It's amazing. I'm here with Chris from the University of British Columbia. Chris, how are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks.
Excellent. Chris, you were telling me about an interesting project you were working on.
Yeah, so actually this kind of needs some context. So I'm not Canadian. I was kind of new to Canada, but I was teaching a course, a workshop on blockchain to Indigenous Canadian students.
Interesting.
And we started working on, the concepts of blockchain, what it can do, and then tried to develop some blockchain-based applications to solving social challenges, basically. So in Canada, about 10 years ago, they set up a commission called the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The purpose was to collect stories from Indigenous Canadians that have been sent to residential schools. So they take them off to boarding schools when they were kids, forcibly by the government. And then in 2008, they started this commission to collect their stories and kind of work it all out, what really happened, and towards making amends for all the horrible things that happened to them. But the problem was that this commission then collected all those stories and now stores them in a central repository. So there's this kind of central archive with everybody's stories, and they don't trust the government anyway. So why would the government be holding their stories? They're not really sure what's going to happen to them. Now there's kind of a big debate over what happens to that data. So they started exploring, could we kind of develop a blockchain-based solution whereby individuals would then have access to their story through a wallet, and then they can provide consent to other people to use it if they wanted to, or use parts of it, or just lock it up and not use it at all. So it's about bringing the power back to the individual and giving them ownership over their story rather than having it in the hands of kind of a central authority.
Okay, so let me get this right. So it's about, there's a story and it's going to be in a centralized database, and now you're looking to build a project on how to decentralize that story so people can have ownership and then usage rights of their different stories. Are these text or these video?
These are text, predominantly text. I'm not sure if they collect any video, but it's kind of analogous to what's happening in healthcare at the moment. So you think about, like, you go to a doctor or something and they collect all your data, and then you get a different practitioner, they collect all your data. It's kind of, your data is kind of spread out all these providers. So if they're building wallets now that you can control access to your own healthcare data and carry that around with you and provide permissioned access to others to use it if you wanted to. Basically the same thing, but with stories of,
It's really interesting. I had an interview with Larry Sanger a couple months ago. He's the founder of Wikipedia, and he's working on Everpedia now. And I would say look at that in terms of like their structure and their open source project, because they're trying to figure out the quintessential essence of truth of what a real description or a real definition should be of a particular item. And so they're coming up with all these different mechanisms and it's all open source. Everpedia is all open source, which is really interesting. Which have these definitions of truth, and people may have different perspectives and different definitions of, like, let's say something like God, right? What's a God definition to somebody who's Muslim or like Christian or Jewish, right? So all of these different aspects of the definition, I think is really interesting. What you're talking about seems like it's an overlap to some similar to that. Who's controlling the story? Who's having the definition of what actually happened at the time? And something along those lines. Yeah,
that's a really good way to look at it, actually. So you're talking about, if we have individuals controlling ownership of their own story, in which they're the protagonist, what does that mean for truth overall? Because now there's no central authority deciding, here's a collection of stuff, and that's, this is what happened. Which is pretty much kind of the point of that whole the whole project that they set up. But yeah, exactly. So if we can kind of decentralize the ownership of those stories, give them back to the people whose story it is. I think that's pretty powerful. I think it's great, and they don't have to trust anyone else now. They don't have to trust anyone else to hear the truth from them. They know what it is.
All right. So if people want to learn more about this project,
at this stage, it's exploratory. So we're trying to set it up. So this project, there might not be a lot on. But you can check out Blockchain at UBC.
Blockchain at UBC.
We're a research cluster in the University of British Columbia. So we do a bunch of different projects and a lot of teaching stuff as well. So
Chris, that's awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.